Welcome to topic 1.4 Challenges of the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation were the first government that was put in place after the War for Independence was won. The system of government was known as a confederation, which is an alliance between states that come together for limited purposes. And a confederation was chosen because the framers had a deep fear of centralized power, fear of tyranny, mob rule, and so that's why most power went to the states. The structure of the AOC was a unicameral Congress, so one chamber in each state, 13 states, each had one vote. It did not matter their population size. There was no executive, no president, no person enforcing the laws, and no judiciary system, no national court system put in place to settle federal disputes between states. So the powers reserved to the states tax, commerce, they could coin money, and they had control of militias, and all 13 states had to agree to any sort of amendment changes. So the weaknesses of the AOC itself as a national government, they had no power to tax, no executive branch, no national court system, no power to regulate interstate commerce, no power to coin money. Each state had their own currency, which led to inflation being pretty high. And there was no standing army, which ultimately led to the last straw and really showed the leaders and citizens that change needed to come pretty quickly. And the fact that there was no power to tax really hurt because that was a power reserved to the states, hence why the states had more power than the national government. They could ask the states for tax money, but the states were not under any obligation to do so. So, the ultimate last straw that proved the true weakness of the Articles of Confederation was Shays' Rebellion. So, some background leading up to the rebellion, there's high state taxes, post war economic depression. Many farmers and veterans were facing debts and foreclosures because they were not getting paid from serving in the Revolutionary War. So, this rebellion was led by Daniel Shays, who is a Revolutionary War veteran and farmer up in Massachusetts. Shays and many other farmers and veterans shut down courts in Massachusetts in order to prevent foreclosures. And Congress couldn't send troops to suppress the rebellion because it had no standing army and it had no funding in order to establish this standing army. So, what happened to the rebellion? The rebellion was put down by state militia that was funded by private citizens, not the national government. And this really exposed how fragile this new government and the Articles of Confederation really were. It exposed the lack of centralized military power, the inability to maintain domestic order, and it showed the leaders and framers that change needed to come and it needed to come pretty quickly. So, thus, the Constitutional Convention to Philly was the next stop. So the failures of the Articles of Confederation led to one question that we still see going on today and is still the center of debate. Should more power shift from the states to the national government? And that was the question on the minds of the men going to the Constitutional Convention. And down below is an exam tip. Learn this pattern. So the fear of tyranny is why the framers created and put in place the Articles of Confederation, which led to a weak government, which led to a national crisis, Shays' Rebellion. And Shays' Rebellion really showed the leaders that we needed to have a shift toward a stronger federal authority and federalism under the Constitution, which led to the Constitutional Convention. Take a look at the key takeaways for topic 1.4, and I'll see you next time for topic 1.5.